Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video today for the react to why the Boondocks reboot failed. Well, it never even got off the fucking ground. So, why did it fail? I don't know, but just hopefully this video tells us why and not give us. I hate when these videos be like, this is why this happened, but then the video be like, they just go over the whole history of the fucking show, and then like they don't never tell you why. They give you like a small example. They just go over the whole. That's why I don't know about these these documentary video essay type of videos, bro. They be all over the place, bro.
There is a very close similarity between Hollywood and politics. The right wing knows it, the left wing does not. I sell angry black politics to 20 million white people a day. I wonder what happens if you just take the politics that mainstream America hates and put it in a really cute package. How do they handle it?
Remember the earlier days of the internet? A wild and weird time where just about any level of humor flew? Edginess was the rule of the landscape. And no doubt, many of you were either growing up during that time, Jesus Christ, I feel old, or, like myself, you were deeply inundated in all the post-ironic glory. You basically couldn't escape it at the time. If you were on the internet, you were likely watching some variation of people swearing, throwing up into each other's mouths, or whatever weird, absurd thing was going on. And while this era is beloved by most, it really was an era of truly hollow, edgy humor. I mean, I'm a large appreciator of Filthy Frank lore, but I'd be lying if I said it made any deep commentary on our society. That's why it generally didn't surprise me too much to learn something I know many of you will likely know and say it was obvious, that The Boondocks was a show that was released in 2005, and not in fact during the edgy era of the internet, despite many clips of the show being posted during that period. Around 2005, you had comedians like Dave Chappelle blowing up for his critical view of society and the black experience. Was it edgy? Yes. But was a lot of it poignant and meticulously thought out to make a point? Absolutely. While yes, the greatly inferior fourth season aired in 2014, we'll get to that soon, The Boondocks itself came out far earlier. While many will often say that the show couldn't be made today due to the political climate, I couldn't disagree more. The Boondocks, outside of its more in-your-face gags with Uncle Ruckus and clip segments for memes out of context, was a show about class struggles, stereotypes made within and outside the black community, and race relations. And, as everyone knows, comedy is the easiest way for people to swallow political truths in society. So the Boondocks did just that to a T. Every edgy joke typically had something to say about society, and no topic or celebrity was off bounds to Aaron McGruder's writing. However, with this in mind, the problem should become incredibly clear about why the Boondocks couldn't work about season 4, well, that's perhaps the biggest key factor into why. The Boondocks, even in its earlier seasons, although popular, caught tons of flack from people as it targeted just about everyone, as I'd mentioned before. What made it work, though, and likely survive, was the fact that Aaron McGruder was the brainchild behind the show. He knew just exactly how to strike the perfect balance of satire and edgy humor, while also coming off as genuine. Take a character like Huey, who is basically a self-insert, but even when he seemed to be the wisest in the room, he still showed vulnerability as a child still learning, and not quite a Lisa Simpson character in the later seasons, where she essentially becomes a flanderized know-it-all, which is where season 4 comes in again. Season 4 intentionally ripped all the nuance away, the thought-out writing for the characters and charm, and threw it out the window in favor of a more flanderized style of character writing and Family Guy-like jokes, where simply saying something stupid and absurd should be funny enough, at least from their perspective. Many had attributed this to the fact that Aaron McGruder had left the show in the 4th season, but in late 2014, it was actually revealed through Sony hacks that a series of emails exchanged by McGruder and the producers at Sony showed he was in fact involved in the season's creation. However, much of what he had planned and written was then handed to new writers who essentially butchered the impact of the jokes and plot lines. I need to remind you, of course, that much of this is my own obvious speculation, as there's not much online about how much McGruder had written, but one can only assume with the drastic loss of Edge in the final season, he likely had drafts and plots written out, not too different from how, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that both Zach and Michael Cusack also write out plots for future episodes well in advance. However, that's exactly the problem. You remove both of them from the equation in making these plots and writing moments, along with Magruder, and you get a hollow experience of what they'd written out. The leaks in Granddad's voice actor had stated he was being forced to write multiple shows and had to have it done incredibly quickly, so he was fired for not meeting their expectations. So ultimately, you remove the venom from the snake and you've just got a little wet noodle. That's what happened to Boondocks. This was essentially the same thing as we were about to get a Boondocks reboot. After many years of being under a gag order from Sony, Uncle Ruckus's voice actor actually spilled the beans that Aaron Magruder had been fired yet again for being unable to finish his writing quickly enough.
Felt like it was taking too long. Like I had already recorded 8 episodes of it as Uncle Ruckus. I'd done 8 episodes, but they decided they weren't going to make it. They thought it was taking too long to get made.
And while many of you probably are familiar with John Kay and how he took far too long to get his work done for shows like Ren and Stimpy, among other things, I think there is a little more nuance to speculate about this show's cancellation and the fact that it was taking too long to write for Aaron. Think back to what happened to Dave Chappelle before taking his break from comedy and traveling to Africa. When his humor was being laughed at for all the wrong reasons, with, as Dave Chappelle put it, white people laughing at him a little bit too hard uncomfortably, as if the jokes went completely over their heads, and the face value Edge was what they found the most funny. Dave Chappelle at the time had to step out as he felt like he was perpetuating certain issues by doing his comedy stand-up. So when you really look back at things, how do you think someone like Aaron Magruder would feel writing a show as socially biting as the Boondocks?
Why do they want you to see certain things? Why do they want black people looking silly? Well, it's simple. I mean,
yes, it has some silly moments, but overall it was never a series meant to make black people the butt of the joke. It was always society at large. Now again, I have to repeat, this is my own speculation, but I can only assume with the current political climate, he felt the necessity to take his time with crafting the right jokes that in no way could be misinterpreted as a slight at his own culture and people. As a writer myself with perhaps not even 2% of his writing capabilities, I can only imagine the level of mental strain he had to not only improve on the 4th season that left many disappointed, but to also remain as edgy as he was in the 2000s. Go too far with the safety of season 4, and everyone hates you for being far too weak. But go too far, and you end up what the Uncle Ruckus movie was likely going to be. Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, that was also going to be a thing at a time, and as much as I love the idea of keeping this amazing voice actor doing his shtick, it was essentially a doomed project from the beginning. As much as I and others loved Uncle Ruckus, if you remove the entire cast that helped bounce off his racist shtick, the movie would have just been painfully edgy for the sake of edginess. Characters like Huey and Riley that were to be written off helped balance out Uncle Ruckus's blatant racism, turning his self-hatred and offensive rhetoric into biting commentary on racism and internalized oppression. A live-action adaptation, especially one focused solely on Ruckus, risked losing the humor and social critique that defined the Boondocks, potentially reinforcing stereotypes it once lampooned. Ultimately, although I am sad that the Boondocks reboot was never brought to life, had it fallen into the hands of other writers less talented like season 4, I'm afraid the show would have been yet another lame duck. Perhaps it's ultimately better that we just didn't get anything. We still have those first 3 seasons, as they still stand the testament of time being posted all over the internet to this very day, with many not realizing it aired 2 decades ago. Yeah, sink that in for a moment. And on top of that, it would also just feel wrong to continue the show while the heart and soul of the series, Granddad, was gone.
Granddad, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do?
You do what you can.
I can only hope that within the next couple of years, we see something like Black Jesus be made by Magruder, but for now, I think it's best we all move on from the Boondocks and hope Aaron does too for his own sanity. Thanks for watching, guys.
Alrighty. Alright, well. This is actually pretty good. I like this. Now, I didn't know about, what really happened. I don't know what really happened. I didn't know what really happened. All I knew was that HBO had fucked around and canceled the Boondocks coming back. And I kind of feeling it has something to do with Aaron McGruder and them again going at it. And showing up, it sure was them and Aaron McGruder going at it. And I hate the fact that they don't understand that greatness takes time. There's a reason why the Boondocks came out in 2005 and we didn't get the second season until like what, 2007, 2008. And then we didn't get the third season until 2010. There's a reason why the show took his time. It was like, yeah, he's trying to hit on he's trying to hit on social commentary while trying to be funny, but at the same time, it's the writing, it's the way how he's portraying things. It's, you know what I'm saying, you got to be very careful with what you're putting out there, you know. Especially when it comes to a show like the Boondocks, you have to be very careful with these type of shows. Which is why he took his time, but you know, money, we need money now. Give us come on, we need the money now. We're not going to sit up here and keep giving you all this money and you still taking your time. This is why we got rid of you the first time. You know what? Go ahead. At this point, I don't think we need another Boondocks. I think Boondocks is good for what it was. I don't think we need another one. At this point, I'm good with Boondocks just being where it is. I don't think it's necessary for a new season at this point because I think we've spoken on everything that needs to be spoken on. Granted, there are some things that going on in this world that, you know, you kind of wish you had a Boondock show to make fun of, to give their social commentary on, but got to take your time with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to take your time with it. It's not like The Simpsons where you can just write a bunch of gag jokes on top of gag jokes and get it out the way, or Family Guy where you can just write a bunch of gag jokes and just get it off real quick. You know what I'm saying? These shows take time, man. You got to take your time. You got to make sure this is how you want it to be written. This is the image. This is what you're trying to portray. This is the message you're trying to get out there. I don't think that these companies don't understand that when it comes to the show like the Boondocks. I don't think it, and that's why I don't think that's why we ever gonna get this show back again, especially with the OG John Witherspoon gone. Yeah, boy. RP to John Witherspoon. You know what I'm saying? Without him, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? That's just me though. But anyways though, that's just gonna about do it for this one. Yeah, I think the Boondocks is good where it is right now. Just let it be a memory, because like I said, the show still holds up today. Everything that they was talking about back then is coming to the light now. So can we really say that the Boondocks is basically what the Simpsons should have been? It should have died when it was getting out of hand. When it started to jump the shark, that's when you let it go, instead of just keep continuing to roll it on and on and on and on and on and on to the point where it's like, why are you still even here? You know what I'm saying? That's how we look at the Simpsons now. It's like, why are you still here? Like back then, you used to love the Simpsons. Simpsons used to come on, you sit there and watch it. But nowadays, you see the Simpsons now, it's like, why are you still here? But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Let's let the Boondocks be what it is. Let's just remember it for what it is, man. The social commentary of the show is still relevant to this day. It's not outdated in any way, shape, or form. So I think it's pretty good where it is. That's just me, though. But anyway, so I'll see you on the next video. Till then, peace out.